My next guest is a designer, a teacher who's going to show us how to shape things, actually make your animation look a little bit better in Flash. Debbie Rich, it's great to have you.
Thank you.
Welcome.
We need the Tinker Toys.
You want them? I got them. You
Yes,
can have
please.
them back. We're going to talk shape hints, so I guess that's why we've got all these
We're going to talk about
shapes.
shape hints.
Yeah. The idea here is making your animation a little bit smoother. You actually, this is a Flash animation here.
Yes.
Real briefly, Flash is what?
So Flash is a vector-based animation program.
It's used on the web like crazy.
It's used on the web a lot because it's vector-based instead of pixel-based.
It means the files are very small.
Very small.
Yeah.
They download very quickly. They stream really smoothly.
I noticed your website, we'll show that a little bit later on, is very heavily Flash-oriented. Everything
Yes.
on there is Flash. But the good thing about Flash, it works on all computers, really. There's Unix Flash, there's Linux Flash, there's OS 10, OS 9, Windows Flash. So you really, even if you're using Flash, you're very cross-platform, right? Very
Yes, and
compatible.
Macromedia, the company that does Flash, has been really cool about opening up their player.
Right. Make it very accessible.
Yes, making everything very accessible. That's
So you created this in the Flash Designer program. This is a
did.
sun making a little face.
Yes.
And this is morphing? It looks like animation to me.
Yes, so morphing is a process where you can make one shape turn into another very smoothly. And this character has a few morphs in it, actually. Each eyelid is its own morph. In Flash, it's called tweening.
Okay.
And this nose and mouth set is also a morph.
Okay.
So what
So show us how you can do that.
Okay, I'd love to do that.
We're going to open Flash. In the animators, the Disney animators called it tweening because those were the drawings in between the beginning and the end, right? Were the in-between drawings.
Exactly, and
Yeah.
that's where the term tweening comes
Right,
from.
yeah.
Perfect.
So here's this is the Flash creation program.
Yes, so this is the Flash editing and authoring environment.
Not the end user doesn't need this. This is just for the designer.
Exactly. The end user needs the Flash player, and that typically comes with your browsers right now. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to set up a morphing animation.
Okay.
We're going to call that a tweening again.
All right.
And then I'm going to show you how to use a process called shape hints.
Okay.
Right? To actually make that visual transition go a little bit differently than it sets itself up as. So, holding down my shift key and selecting the circle tool.
You
I'm
made a
going
nice
to make
green
a
circle.
Yes.
Okay.
Green, my favorite
That's the
color.
beginning. Now we go to the end of the
Then
timeline.
I'm going to set in a number of frames in the timeline,
Okay.
20 frames. So this is going to be about a second and a half of animation.
Okay.
And in that end frame, well, first what I'm going to do, excuse me, is I'm going to insert what's called a keyframe. And a keyframe allows me to create a visual change over time.
Right.
So
So
I'm
the
gonna-
beginning and the ends would be the keyframes here, yeah?
Exactly, and each of these circles, these
Yep.
filled in black circles, that indicates a keyframe, which
Okay.
again allows me to change something visually over time. So now I'm going to select my square.
This will be the end of the animation.
Yes, sir. And I'm going to hold down my shift key to constrain this to make this rectangle shaped like a square. So we
Okay.
now have a perfect circle and a perfect square.
Yeah.
And what I'm going to do is I'm going to just select this circle, and I'm going to hit my delete key and get rid of that.
So that's the end is the square, and the circle's at the beginning, and we're going to go from one to the other.
Exactly. So
All
as
right.
you can see, nothing really cool is happening right
Not
now.
at all.
But
Yes.
you and I are going to change that.
All
So
right.
I am going to select the timeline, and I'm going to go to this panel called the Frame panel, which is locatable under the Window Panels menu. I'm going to go to Tweening, and I'm going to say Shape.
So you're going to shape tween.
And notice that before this was a gray clear box, and now it's a green
Got it?
box with a
Oh, look.
solid arrow.
And it actually did some, it actually automatically did the transition. Well, we're done. That was great. Thank you very
Oh,
much.
no.
You can do more?
You forgot about
We can
my
make it
shape
better.
hints.
All right, let's see what that does.
Okay, so
I'm just teasing you. I know we have more to do.
you're just teasing me.
Okay.
So I'm going to go to Modify.
Yes.
I'm going to Modify.
All right.
And I'm going to go to Submenu Transform. They really bury this. And I'm going to do what's called an Add Shape Hint.
There's a little red dot.
Yes, that ever-present little red dot.
Yeah.
And notice that it has an A inside of it. So what I'm actually going to do is kind of alphabetically code the curves and correspondingly the corners of these shapes.
Are you telling it now that that point on the circle has to go to that point on the square? You're kind of mapping one to the other?
Yes, I am.
All right.
You've obviously done this
I'm
before.
not a fool. I may play one on TV.
And notice as well that there's The red dots have changed into a green dot.
Yeah, what is that?
And
That really
and
improved
check out
things.
what happened.
Oh, man.
So how's that for a smooth transition?
No, I don't like it. Can we fix it?
Yes, we can.
Let's fix it, Debbie.
Let's add another shape.
Oh, we just don't have enough of them.
Exactly. So
How many
flash
would you
is-
need, you think, here?
I tend to sort of overindulge,
Uh-huh.
and I tend to put shape hints on every corner.
Okay.
There we go.
Now, that's
But we
doing
can-
kind of what we wanted it to do, yeah?
Yeah, we can actually get away with just two. And what I want to point out as well is that I started at the top left, and I'm working my way counterclockwise.
Flash likes it that way.
Flash really likes that.
Let's see the final animation in QuickTime. I know you animated it all. Now, obviously, you're going to do more than just animate circles here, but this gives you an idea. The top one is the one without the tweening hints, and the bottom is with, right?
This is correct.
There's
I
the
notice that it tweens the shape as well as the color.
Very good. And now let's go back to our sun. And if you didn't have hints, would it look that good, or
It would not.
do you have one without? There is without.
There we go.
It
So
doesn't do
notice-
anything we want to do.
Yeah, so this mouth and this eyelid here, those have shape hints applied to the
Right, but the
tweening.
one on the right
Yes.
does not.
It's
Got
a
it.
very odd blink.
That's how you do animation. It's really pretty simple, isn't it?
It really is.
That technique can be used for so many things. If you want to know more, first of all, Debbie has a great website where she's got some neat Flash stuff. It's wildbranches.com,
Yes.
right? Love the site.
Thank
There it
you.
is. There's a picture of it, and you can see how pretty that is. And by the way, Flash is not free. It's an expensive program, but you can get a 30-day download at macromedia.com.
Yes, you can.
So you can get 30 days to play with us. Thank you, Debbie. I appreciate it. A lot of fun for an article on how to do this step by step using shape hints and tweening. Go to thescreensavers.com. We've got an article with samples, links to download Flash. We've even got the animations that we just did here all up on the web. Coming up after the break, is your file system getting too fat? You hear that sound? That's your file system getting